In this video, I'm going to show you what I believe are the best credit cards for e-commerce and why I believe that. But if you're watching this video, you're obviously in e-commerce, you're going to love our channel. Click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos we put out every Tuesday and every Friday. First off, I love credit card reward hacking. I use it in my personal finances where I use the Coinbase card to get 4% back on everything I spend in the graph. And I use it in my businesses using the Amex Gold card and the Spark card by Capital One. Now, there's other cards that you can use, but these are the two we recommend, and I'm going to explain why in this video. But in general, using rewards cards is a no-brainer way to maximize your earnings inside your business. You already have expenses in your business, but now using rewards cards, you can get 2% back on all of your expenses or fly in first class for free simply by spending the money you were already going to spend in your business, but putting it on a rewards card. So I've actually already created this video inside of our course, Dropship Breakthrough, and I pulled it out of the module, and I'm just going to show you the whole video here in this YouTube video because I've kind of explained everything in there and definitely walked through all the pieces of why I recommend these cards. So I'll put the links to the cards in the description, but let's jump right into the video from our course. This video is on credit card rewards. Now, in your business, you're going to have a lot of expenses, so why not make money on those expenses? That's what this whole video series is about. But first, a disclaimer. I have to read this, so I'm going to read it word for word. Not investment advice. This content is for informational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. All content in this video is information of a general nature and does not address the circumstances of any particular individual or entity. Nothing in this video constitutes professional and/or financial advice, nor does any information in this video constitute a comprehensive or complete statement of the matters discussed or the law relating thereto. You alone assume the sole responsibility of evaluating the merits and risks associated with the use of any information from this video. With that said, I love credit card rewards, and I'm excited to talk about them. So let's get started. All right, let's talk about the why. So essentially, this is a free arbitrage opportunity. I was just talking to you about you're going to have to spend this money in your business anyway. Why not make money on it? So if you're unfamiliar with what arbitrage is, a classic example is vintage clothing. You might spend $50 on some clothing at a thrift store or at an auction, but if you go to a vintage boutique or sell it online to fashion-conscious customers, they might pay $500 for that, right? So you bought it for $50, sold it for $500. Classic arbitrage opportunity here as well, and you're going to spend this money anyway. And so as long as you utilize the cards I'm going to recommend to you in this video, or many others that are available, you're going to essentially get paid to use cards and spend the money you were going to spend anyway, right? So they're getting a cut, which is why they're able to share some with you. That's how this works, and we'll get into the cards I recommend in this video. So another why is this allows yourself lead time in paying for the product. So when a customer purchases from you, that money doesn't go immediately into your bank account. That usually sits for a couple days, and then Shopify disperses it to your bank account. So rather than wait for that money to come to your account to then place the order with your supplier, you can cut that down, you can cover that gap, and immediately place the order with your supplier once you get the order by using this credit card, and then you'll have 30 days or more to pay that back as well. So it also adds up to easy bookkeeping. And I'll tell you a story. When I first started, I was $40,000 in debt when I first started dropshipping back in 2015. And when you're $40,000 in debt and it's all on random credit cards, you don't get more credit cards. They're not going to give you more. You have terrible credit at that point because you are using all of your revolving credit. And so I would have a little bit on this card or a little bit on this card, or, the bank account started populating when sales came in. And so I would put a charge here and a charge there and a charge over here. And then at the end of the month, when it came time to reconcile those, I had to remember where those were so I could go verify the charges and make sure that my spreadsheet was all good to go. And so using specific cards only is going to allow your bookkeeping to be super smooth at the end of the month. You can just hop into the two I'm going to recommend here is all you really need. And that way you can just, verify your books. They're not on all sorts of different credit cards. So just a simple why, but a why you'll thank me for later. Whether you use rewards or not, putting everything on just one or maybe even two credit cards is going to make things a lot easier for you. So I love credit card rewards. I kind of geek out about this stuff more than even in business. I do this on my own. I use all sorts of different cards to just maximize the money I'm going to spend anyway. Why not make some money on top of that? And so there's many options out there for personal cards and business cards, but I love it. Like the why for me is the rewards. I've personally flown first class exclusively for 5 straight years, all of which I've never paid for. I've flown to Thailand and to China in Delta One, which is a pod at the front of the plane where you lay down rather than sit in a seat for 20 hours on a couple different flights to get to Asia. And I've also put the cash back to great use. I'll give you some examples of this later on, but I love rewards. I'll say it 100 times in this video. I love rewards. And so I think if you do this in the correct way and you're responsible about this, that this is a fantastic way to utilize, again, money you're already going to spend to pay you back. So let's look at the cards we recommend. So American Express Business Gold Card is one we recommend, and the Capital One Spark Business Card. We'll put notes for all of those down below or within this module so that you have them. And we use the cards for different purposes. So we use the Amex for ad spend. So you're going to run a lot of Google ads. You're going to run some Bing ads. You're going to run probably remarketing and possibly lead ads on Facebook or Snap or Pinterest or TikTok or wherever you run ads. Amex is going to give you 4x points on those, and we'll get into that in the next slide. And you're going to use your Capital One for all of your COGS, which stand for cost of goods sold. So every time customer orders widget A from you, you go to widget A supplier, place the order, they're going to charge your Capital One card, and everything else goes on that card as well. So Shopify, Grasshopper, Bonjoro, whatever else you have for expenses in your business, they all go on the Capital One card. And again, try to keep it mostly to ad spend. And if you also have shipping costs, I would put that on the Amex as well. So let's talk about the Amex. So the Amex is points only. So you're not getting cash back per se, you're getting points back. You are going to get 4x back on your first $150,000 in ad spend or shipping spend, or really any of the categories that give you 4x in there. But for us, it's going to be mostly ad spend. There's many options to use this card. You can use them how you please to cover your purchases on the card, to buy travel, to buy gift cards, to shop on Amazon, to buy merchandise anywhere else via PayPal, I believe is one of the options, or my favorite, airline miles, which is all I use my card for virtually. And there is an annual fee on this card of $295 a year, which again, if you're using this card for your business, $295 is a small price to pay in order to capitalize on this. And in the next slide, I'm going to walk you through how to make the most out of your Amex miles. So hands down, the best value for maximizing your Amex points is to transfer them to an airline. So I am near Minneapolis, St. Paul, which is a Delta hub. And so I transfer all my points to my Delta Sky Miles account. There's other airlines within there that you can transfer to, and even the some that are missing, they might have the European partner, and so you can transfer it to the European partner and then book in your preferred airline. Again, I use Delta, so I'm going to speak to that, and it is a 1-to-1 points transfer. So if I hit that 4x on 150K, I'm going to have 600,000 Amex points that I can move over, and now I'll have 600,000 Delta Sky Miles. So I can fly anywhere, first class, with my Delta Sky Miles, pretty much anywhere in the United States for 25K to 70K points, depending on the destination or whether I'm booking it for a flight tonight or tomorrow versus, a month out. So I can get to Denver sometimes for less than 20K in first class from Minneapolis. But if I'm going to San Diego or LAX or something much further away, it's going to be more on the steep end, as well as like smaller airports, which are much more convenient. So Santa Ana in Orange County is a fantastic tiny little airport that I can get into on Delta, but it's going to cost me a little bit extra. You get the point. But transferring them over to an airline is going to get you the best bang for what these points are worth. Now, you might see when you're inside your Amex that you can book travel inside of there. I believe they're using an API to Orbitz to give you, search for the flight you want, hotel, rental car, things like that. So I want to give you some advice on when to use that versus when to transfer it into Delta SkyMiles or your preferred airline carrier. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I was looking up a flight in the Amex portal, and it was 56,000 points to book this flight inside the Amex portal. And then I went to Delta and searched in Delta using miles, and it said, you can buy this for 46,000 Delta Sky Miles. Now, the thing you have to think about here is if I transfer to Delta, there's a small fee. It's pretty small. But if I only use Delta Sky Miles to book this flight, I don't get any of the rewards from Delta. And again, this is very Delta specific because that's my thing. I don't get any of the rewards. And so if the numbers are close to being a wash, and you do get a kickback from Amex when you book through their portal, if they're very close to being a wash, oftentimes I will book in the Amex portal because it's roughly the same amount of miles. And by doing so, in a recent business I was part of where I had to fly there once a month or so, something around there, I would book in Amex because it was roughly the same. And I became a Platinum Medallion member through Delta, never paying for a flight. But that allowed me a lot of perks to be Platinum and almost Diamond at one point, which you get a lot of perks at that point. Plus, they call you Mr. Knegendorf, and they thank you for flying Delta. They treat you very, very well when you're a member. So there is some perks to booking in Amex, but the majority of the time, you are going to get the best bang for your buck just transferring it out to your airline. Now, a far less valuable method to do this, but also valuable, is using Amazon. Let's be honest, we all shop on Amazon, whether it's myself or my wife. I feel like there is an Amazon box that shows up at my house pretty much every day of the week. And so you can use your points there. Just connect your Amex card just the way you would connect any other card. And you will see at checkout, if you choose that card, it'll say, do you want to pay $20 or X amount of points? And you can choose points and just pay like that, and you can buy off of Amazon. One place I'll tell you never to transfer to, as you might see on the screen, is never transfer to a hotel chain. Transferring to Marriott per se is the worst idea. You're actually getting a terrible deal on your points. So if you want to gauge on like where to send these, it can be a bit of a process, but look at the points that they're giving you. So let's say it's 1-to-1, 100,000 points will get you 100,000 points in this hotel chain, right? Let's say it's 1-to-1. But if you go look at the hotel chain and you try to book a hotel and it says like 100,000 for one night, obviously you're going to get more out of those 100,000 points booking a first class flight from across the country that is going to cost you well over $1,000. You're going to get more out of your points doing it that way versus transferring to a hotel for a one night stay and burning those same 100,000 points. So most of the hotel chains, if not all on there, are a terrible deal. I would never recommend transferring your points out to a Marriott Rewards or something like that. And so I want to tell you one more story of a unique way I saw these points being used. A friend of mine went with his wife to Las Vegas. And they stayed at one of the strip hotels, and inside of those hotels, there's plenty of places to shop, and you can charge things to your room. So his wife bought a $3,000 Louis Vuitton purse and charged it to their room. And since that showed up on his Amex card as a travel charge, he was able to use his points to cover that entire charge and essentially buy his wife a Louis Vuitton purse. So I just wanted to give you one off-the-wall way to use your points. Again, I'm all about the airline miles. Like I love to travel. This is why I got into this business, is I want to be able to do what I want to do, and traveling is one of those things. And so being able to sit in the front of the plane, where I fit much better anyway as a giant gentleman, and be treated like royalty, is way better than sitting in coach. Let's be honest. You ever go to first class, you're never going to want to go to coach again. So this is just a way to do that. And I want to give you one more hack, which is they will give you multiple cards if you ask. So call them and apply for more cards under the same company if you've reached that 4X multiple already. So I have 4 cards currently under one company, and I use each card for a different business. That way I can keep the book separate while they also earn their own 4X on their first 150. But let's say you had one big business and you spent more than 150 in ad spend and you want to continue getting that 4X, then you can just rotate the card. So let's say every 3 months you spend that. Every 3 months, hop into your Google, swap to the other Amex, and get 4X on everything you spend. I haven't seen a limit to this. I haven't seen anybody max out the number of cards they can have. Amex seems to just happily do this for you, as they're just making money on their fees. Now, the other card I want to talk about is the Capital One Spark Business Card. Again, we're going to use this for everything else besides ad spend and shipping. This is a cashback only card. So you're going to get 2% back literally every dollar you spend on your card. Now, I want to give a caveat here. This is straight from my Capital One rep's name. Again, you're going to have a rep for your state usually that you work with on these cards. Straight out of his mouth, this is considered a rebate and not income. So they don't have to send you a tax form saying we've sent you this money because it's not income. According to him, the Capital One has fought this profusely. And again, so this is where this is not financial advice. Talk to your own CPA here. But according to Capital One, this is a rebate and not income. And so you can keep this money tax-free according to Capital One. And it really adds up. So imagine if you spend $100,000 a month on COGS and random expenses, right? And that's not very hard to do. If you have, say, I don't know, 130, 150 in sales, you're going to spend $100,000 on your cost of goods from those manufacturers to ship them out to your customers. If you spend $100,000 a month, that's $2,000 back in rewards. Again, according to Capital One, that's tax-free in your pocket. Now, let's say you build a bigger store. I've been part of an 8-figure dropshipping business. John has helped other 8-figure dropshipping businesses. You're spending $1 million a month on these cards. That's $20,000. Again, according to Capital One, tax-free, $20,000 in cash. And so there's multiple options for use for this, including you can cover your purchases, right? Or my favorite, get paid out in cash because, again, taxes. So I would recommend talking to your CPA about whether she thinks you should, or he thinks that you should use this as income. Again, Capital One has their opinion on this. So I'm just passing along what they said. And of course, there's an annual fee as of the time of this recording, which is September 16th, 2021, when I'm recording this. There is a $0 fee for the first year, $95 annual fee for the second year, and that $95 you're going to make back if you just spend $4,750 on your card. You're going to get that $95 back. So kind of a no-brainer there. On top of that, you can earn currently through our link a one-time $500 cash bonus once you spend $4,500 on purchases within 3 months of the account opening. So again, if you can get $5,000 to $10,000 in sales so that you can put $5,000 cost of goods spend on your card, you're going to not only get your $95 back that you're going to pay in your annual fee, you're going to get a $500 cash bonus. If you can do that in the first 3 months, which again, we're trying to help you do here. Build your business, start making sales, and you will start seeing these rewards come in, which is fantastic. I want to talk about things to consider before I end this video. Again, annual fees, $295 on the Amex, $95 on the Capital One. Just want to make you aware. I think that's a no-brainer personally for what this card is doing for you. These cards are doing for you. I highly recommend paying off the card every month. In fact, I think Capital One now requires you on their new Spark business, but don't carry a balance ever because you are personally guaranteeing this card. So this is going on your credit. Most of business is this way. You're not going to start a LLC and then be able to go get one of these credit cards underneath your LLC. Like, you have to be the one backing it. It is something to consider in all of business, is that you are personally guaranteeing nearly everything that you do. And so these cards are very similar. They go on your personal credit. They are considered a business card, but you are personally guaranteeing them. So pay them off every single month. You have the money anyway. It's coming in from your customers. Pay it off. And as you grow, you're going to have to pay this off even quicker just to have room left on your card. There is no top on the Amex. There's no top. I'm going to air quote that because there is a top. You can like use their estimator and say, will this purchase go through? And it goes pretty high. Capital One, again, it's going to be based solely on your income, what they can give you for fees. And so once if you're selling $1 million a month, there's no way they're going to give you $1 million on there, right? So you're going to need to be paying this off all the time anyway. But if you just don't carry a balance. Don't rob Peter to pay Paul. Don't hang a balance so that you have money for anything. Just pay it off. That is my advice to you. And so those are the things to consider. All the links will be below this video. And if you have any questions, of course, drop them in the Facebook group. And I'd be happy to answer them.